All right. How you doing, folks? Ron Raymond here from the Raymond Report for a TGIF Football Friday, October 22nd. Hopefully you're having yourself a good start to your day. As always, don't forget, subscribe to our channel by tapping that notification bell in the top right-hand corner or hit the subscribe button below this video if you are using the mobile device. Today's podcast is brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. Check out thrivefantasy.com. Check out the App Store. Download it onto your app, and then you can play all the player props at thrivefantasy.com and use promo code ATS to get 100% sign-up bonus when you do sign up with thrivefantasy.com. Also, check out hockeypicks.com. Anybody can play, anybody can join. Follow the top scores each and every day right here at hockeypicks.com. Yours truly, Ron Raymond, having a pretty good run right now. In fact, 8-2 last night, having a good little run in 62% in NHL hockey, and that's where my bread is buttered on these days. And hopefully you guys are on to the ride. Hey, hop on as I always say, hold the rope and get on the bus, and anybody goes on a streak, everybody benefits right here at hockeypicks.com and bballpicks.com. We're getting people playing here at B-Ball Picks, and I can see a lot of people had a pretty good night. Only 3 games yesterday, but you can see a lot of people had a good night yesterday at bballpicks.com. And if you want to follow my plays, you can do that each and every day right here at bballpicks.com. So, good morning, everyone. Hopefully, everybody's having themselves a good Friday, TGIF, and the weekend's here. Hoo-ha! Hey, hoo-ha, the weekend's here. Hey, it reminds me of that commercial there, hey, when she's a princess. You got a problem with that? Hoo-ha! Hey, that's a great commercial. I love that. Looking at the what's on the schedule here today, I'm going to include Ron's rants today. I got 2 rants I want to get off my chest today. One is, it's not a rant, it's just, it's deep in thought, right? Once, the old hamster starts running in the wheel, I always get these things I want to talk about, and I always like to share it with the audience because we do have a great community here at the bullpen, and I always like to get what everybody's thinking whenever I get on these little rants, right? The older you get, the more you rant. You'll notice that if you're young, you'll notice. Once you get older, you rant a lot. Good show here today, guys. We're going to talk about, like always, we'll give you the free horse racing tip of the day from Belmont Park. My rants, I'm going to go over the perception versus reality card and the 10-80-10 club in Major League Sports. Since we're now NBA, NHL starting, I'm going to talk about the penthouse teams, the bottom teams in the like say the second, third, fourth, and then the basement teams. Right, we'll talk about that, and then today's show is scheduled. We're going to talk about the Red Sox Astros game number 6. We're going to look over those 4 hockey games, the basketball games tonight. We'll get into the NFL stats and trends and computer picks, the consensus picks. I know Mark Nations likes those consensus picks, so we'll get that out there. And then we'll kick it off for the weekend before we get on to our the weekend. Oh, there's Gloria K. Hopefully she had a great birthday yesterday. And, I know she always comes on here and she says, Morning Breakfast Club. And this morning I said, you know what? I'm always talking about the Breakfast Club and I don't know the guy's name. Judd Nelson. Hey, I'm always saying Judd. I just always forget everybody remember the Breakfast Club movie? One of my favorite movies in the late 80s. You got Judd Nelson, Mike Anthony Hall. You got, Ali Sheedy, Molly Ringwald. Great movie. If you ever get to see it, go watch that show. The Breakfast Club, and that's what we are here at the Rain Report. All right, Snipers in the house from the Peg. Snipers all happy today as Winnipeg Jets won last night. In fact, it was one of my best bets in hockey. Having a good run. My NHL best bets in the premium section. If you go to picks, go to Ron's premium section. My NHL, and you know what? Let's be honest. That's what I'm known for in the industry. Ever since I've been in this industry, I don't know if I ever told you the story how I started. With my good friend, the Austin Sports Bar, Ryan from the Austin Sports Bar. Back in the day, so when I first got into the sports betting industry, it was 1996, and I was at Algonquin College. I left the military, and I was doing desktop publishing at Algonquin College, and I had my little it was like remember those GeoCity sites and all that stuff. But back in the day, MySpace. Well, I had my own little site, the Canadian version. Back then, it was called the iStar internet service provider, and I had my little hockey page. And Austin Sports Bar, Ryan, came up to me one day. He goes, "You got to post your hockey pics, man. Your pics are on fire. People have been following you." I said, "All right, I'll post my pics over there." So I started posting my pics on the Austin's the Sports Bar. Used to be sportsbar.com, Austin Sports Bar. And then, my pics would go there, and then people from Vegas would start calling me. And I think I told you guys this story once. 4:30 in the morning, getting phone calls. "Hey, your pick's up." I go, "It's 4:30 in the morning." Normal people sleep here. Not everybody in Vegas stays up till 6 in the morning. I said, "Yeah, I'll get my picks up by about 10 o'clock Eastern." But I used to get a lot of phone calls from a lot of heavy hitters in Vegas back in the day. This I'm talking about 1998, 99. So anybody who knows me in the industry back then knows I'm the hockey guy, right? But back in the day, now there's a lot of good hockey handicappers out there. But that's what I got. That's where I was known for back in when I first started. And then that's why hockey to me is always probably my best sport. Than in the NFL. All right, so a little story behind the hockey selections. And speaking of hockey, 7-1 to start the year. My premium picks had a good night last night in the members area. We went 3-0 with our member selection. Had one NBA pick. It was the money line on Atlanta, so we were able to cash in there. But again, if you're interested in the membership, guys, don't forget, anytime you get a membership at ATS, use promo code OCT25, OCT25, just like you see right here. Get 25% off your membership package, and you will get my members picks, my beer and pizza money picks, and you can get that each and every day right here at atsstats.com. All right, that's a little story right there. Isaiah Moore is in the house from Minnesota's in the house. Telly's in the house. TGIF Telly. You got Gloria K. You got Mark Nation. So nice short show today. LOL. Yeah, here we go, eh? Yeah. Anytime I get, you can tell it's Friday, eh? Where everybody's in a good mood on Friday. You just sit back, relax, have a coffee, start telling stories. And, we only got, 12 NFL games, 13 NFL games to talk about. But I'm good, man. Thanks, Sniper. Thank you, Ron, for the members' picks. You're welcome. And hopefully they're giving you guys some extra cash in the pocket, right? And speaking of cash, don't forget the objective of the goal is to get to the winner's circle each and every night, because you want to make out cash out Monday. The one thing we talk about a lot on this show is money management, right? A lot of people in the sports betting industry, we don't talk about money management. And, I just, anytime hey, I can just see Mark Nations. Oh no, he's going on another rant. We're going to lose him here. Remind me to do a show on money management and where I think the industry is going, because I just got a feeling that there's too much of saturation right now in the way people bet. And when there's too much of everything, you're going to tap out players, because in the end of the day, bookmakers win 90% of the time and players lose 90% of the time, right? But I'll go on that rant on another day. All right, so what else we got on show? Yeah, so the objective is to get to a cash out Monday. And if you are new to the Raymond Report, my name is Ron Raymond. I'm a 5-time sports handicapping champion based out of Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. And you can find me here each and every Monday to Friday on our YouTube channel. And if you ever want to get in touch with me, just shoot me an email at ronraymond@atsstats.com, or go to the website, hit the contact us button, hit the leave your detail, and then just shoot me your message. And I normally tend to get back to you very quickly. Also, if you want to learn more about sports betting and you want to learn some of my top tips, they're on my YouTube channel. If you go to the YouTube channel, The Raymond Report, look below the newest videos. You'll see the top 30 sports betting tips each and every day. You can watch one video tip a day, and in total, about 4 hours in total. 5 to 12 minutes each video. But if you're new to sports betting, that's a good way to start learning some of the do's and don'ts of sports betting, right? Also, if you're interested in my book, Ron Raymond's Top 50 Sports Betting Secrets, go to atsstats.com, go to 50 Greatest Secrets, and here you can pick up my book that I wrote in 2009. That was many, many barbecues ago. That was many rodeos ago in 2009. And you can see that you can get this book here at atsstats.com. Race horsing tutorials. If you like horse racing, we do have a horse racing tutorial. If you go to horses, how to bet the ponies, I do have a little video right there on some of my popular way of betting horses. And speaking of horses, we always start off the show with a free sports betting tip on the ponies, right? Because as my good friend would say, they got to eat too, you know. You got to feed those ponies. All right, so let's see. I finally won NHL yesterday. I went 4-0. I almost gave up, says Gloria K. Good morning. Let's all get the payout, says Ball Cash. Let's get to that cash out Monday, as Ball Cash says. Thank you, Ron. You, the Pelicans, can upset the Bulls, says Beat Studio. And Oladi Max likes the Celtics here tonight. I like the Celtics too. Toronto's, not a good way to start the season. All right, let's get to your free horse racing tip of the day, and then we'll get on to Ron's rant. Belmont Park, $20,000 race number 1's a maiden claiming race, 12:35 post time. It's 1 mile on the dirt, 273 in race number 1 today at Belmont Park. The number 2 horse, School of Thought, with Irad Ortiz Jr. in the saddle, 28% in the money. Irad is in his last 100 races. You got 7-2 morning line on School of Thought. Balinese with Manny Franco in the ride here on the 7 horse. Balinese, 3-1 morning line. And Malibu Anthem, Dale Davis taking a ride here on Malibu Anthem. Dale Davis, 25% in the money. Malibu Anthem, 9-2 morning line. 273 in race number 1 today at Belmont Park. That's your recommendation. And if you do like a joker selection, the value play of the day, it's a nice little long shot. 8-1 morning line on the 6 horse, Black Licorice, with my guy Luis Saez on the 6. 8-1 morning line on Black Licorice. All right, if you're going to play an exacta today, I'm going to recommend 2-7, 7-3, 3-6 in race number 1 at Belmont. And if you're going to play a trifecta, 2-7-3, 6-7-3, exacta box. Always remember to box those horses. All right, and don't forget, you get the entire tip sheet today for free at Belmont by going to atsstats.com. Go to horses, free tip sheet. In the pull-down menu, look for Belmont Park, October 22nd, and you will get today's tip sheet. All right, my first rant of the day, before we get on to the handicapping. I was looking at that NFL game last night, and it just, you hear me say this all the time. Perception versus reality. Perception versus reality, right? How many times do I say that during a week on the show here, right? And I'm sitting there last night and I'm going, you know what? It's not that I'm not going to reinvent the wheel by saying this, but it just really hit me like a brick wall last night. I said, here's 2 football teams that are pretty much even, playing the game last night, right? It was a 3-point game. It was the final 17-14 or something like that, or 17-14. But it was a very tight game. It could have went either way. There was chances on both sides, right? And if you're handicapping that game last night and you're saying, you know what, here's 2 even teams, it could have went either way. It could have went Cleveland, it could have went Denver. But think like a bookmaker. My good friend Ross Benjamin says it all the time. What's the bookmaker's job, right? Is to get, if you got 100 people in the room, how do we get 50 people betting on Denver, 50 people betting on the Cleveland Browns, right? And really, is the game really mean anything to the bookmaker? When I'm thinking about that, like this game is so even, the bookmakers know they got a really tight game. How are they controlling the perception of this game with the line? I'm just thinking of saying, why, if the line was -1.5 Denver, what's the odds of the betting in that room? I'll use the $100 room, right? The 100 people in the room. If the line is -1, -2 Denver, is this like an 80-20, 70-30 balance to the Denver Broncos? Now the line was -1.5 Cleveland, so now was the line? I would just love to see the numbers on the percentage of people who wagered on Cleveland last night compared to Denver, just to see exactly. What the bookmaker thinks, right? The bookmaker is his control, the way he can manipulate and control the perception out there. Because again, perception is the line is 1.5, and it's not even really about the game. It's really about the psychology of the betting public. If we put 1.5, can I get 50-50 of the room betting on that on the game last night, right? So I'm thinking, okay, I got to really do a deep dive into this and really think about more of this perception versus reality. And then in the middle lies the game, right? The reality is there's a football game to be played, and at the end of the day, you had 2 balanced teams on the field, and home field. Did it play any luck in last night's game? And, Cleveland got the win, but neither team really dominated. The Denver's offense just, they go out to that 3-0 start, and now they're losing 4 in a row, and then you lose you lose Chubbs, you lose Kareem Hunt, you lose Baker Mayfield, and at the end of the day, players win ball games, right? At the end of the day, players win ball game. But the thing that really stood to me last night was, how did the bookmaker do last night on the perception of the betting? How many people really did they balance out the action? Were they able with that 1.5 to get both the room 50-50 in action, right? It's just something that hit me last night, and it's just, you got to really handicap two things. You got to handicap the perception of the line and where you think the betting public, and then you say, okay, and then there's the football game. Then if you're really going to handicap the football game, you got to get into the offense, defense, the injuries, which you're supposed to do as a handicapper. But it's just to find the caramel secret of the perception and the reality. There's a caramel secret in there somewhere, right? And this is why last night it got me into deep thought. And it's like, man, a game like this, how's the bookmaker? How does he balance out the line? Anyway, something I want to rant about here today. And again, conversation, right? And the thing is how do you find the middle ground of the perception and the reality, right? Is it injuries? Is it the location of the game? Denver's in a cold city, so is Cleveland. There's so many angles that plays out in a football game. The kicking game, was it a factor last night? The Case Keenum against Teddy Bridgewater. Those are the things from a handicapping reality point of view. Something to consider when you're handicapping your games, right? All right, here we go. The next rant I want to talk about is, I'm almost like afraid to say this anymore because of what Urban Meyer's been doing. But I did read Urban Meyer's book and Above the Line, and there's a chapter in there he talks about the 10-80-10 club, right? 10%. If you look at a football team, or you look at a hockey team, or you look at any team, it could be baseball, whatever. 10% of your players are elite. They're alphas. They're your top players, right? 10% of a team. Then you got your 80% who are your regular Joes and Janes, just happy to be here, part of the club, average players. And then you got your other 10%, the disinterested, right? So you got the 10% of the elite club. These are your high performance level athletes in skill wise. And then you got your 80%, which are all average. Then your 10%, on the verge of getting cut or disinterested, right? So how do I take that 10-80-10 perception and apply it to the market index, what I do here at ATS, right? So I'm big in the perception versus reality, the market psychology of the betting public. And I said, let me do I'll do the NFL first, right? So I went to my market value index, and you hear me talk about this all the time, the bullish teams, the neutral teams, and then the bearish teams, right? The bullish teams are teams that are 3-0 or better. The neutral teams in the last 3 games. All right. So in football, I always my range is 3 games. Any team that's 3-0, they're bullish team, right? They're a high value. It's just they're the public love fest of the moment, and those are the teams that people are in love right now. And look at these 4 teams right now in the bullish club: Arizona, Dallas, Green Bay, and Baltimore. Tell me that's not 4 of the more public teams that are going right now. I couldn't think of another team. Maybe Buffalo if they win that game the other night. But those are 4 teams right now. They're part of the 10% club. Now the thing with the 10% club here in the 10-80-10. Now you look at the neutrals and you do the math. Look at this, 10%, which is actually there's 4 teams, so it breaks down to 12.8%. And then you got the other neutral 80% here. Look at these. These are your average teams, just happy to be here. 1-2, 2-1 in their last 3 games. And then you got your disinterested, right? These are teams that are just, the bearish teams, the teams that are just, from a market psychology point of view, just really people don't want to touch them with a 10-foot pole, except contrarians. Contrarians are say, you know what, I'm going to take them because I know eventually they're going to cover a spread. Not win a game, but cover a spread, right? And those are your Houstons, your Dolphins, your 49ers, Broncos, Panthers, and Lions. So think of the 10-80-10 club, right? So 10%, 80%, and then you're 10% interested, but in the 10 bottom, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Niners need to get their act together, though. So where am I going with this, right? So I always believe there's like in life, right? Like in the in business or your financial situation, there's always a transfer of wealth happening, right? And the same thing to me is you can apply that mentality of the transfer of wealth in sports, right? Transfer of win percentage, right? And to me, teams can't win forever. Teams can't lose forever. And here's the average pool in the 80% club, right? So when I look at NHL hockey right now, and we'll switch sports, we'll go to NHL. I look at the 10% club. Now, in the 10% club, we're top heavy right now. We have 9 teams, which works out to about 28% in the 10% club. So we got a lot of fat cats right now in the 10% club, right? So you can see right now in the 10% club of the 10-80-10 in hockey. Here's your but again, it's still early, and in the NHL, in order to make the bullish or the 10% club, it's out of 7 games, not 3 games. And the reason why I do 7 games in the NHL, it's because there's more volume, right? There's more volume of games. Where the NFL, you play 17 games, and then the NHL, you play like 82, and baseball, you play 162, I believe, and then so on and so forth, right? So looking at the NHL, it's still early. And most of the teams have played 4 games right now. So when I look at the 10% club in the NHL, well, there's more than 10 teams, right? There's 28% of the teams are 4-0 or above 75%. And looking at the in order to be in the bullish club, I believe you got to be above 60 or 70% or something like that. Or no, so in the last 7 games, you got to be 5-2, 6-1, or 7-0 to be part of the bullish club, right? So you look at St. Louis. I'm telling you right now, St. Louis, I've watched 2 of their games. This is one good hockey team. If Jordan Binnington could continue playing like this, the Blues are going to be a tough team to play again every night. Carolina, Florida, the Panthers 4-0. Buffalo, watch out for Buffalo, and I'll get to my Buffalo angle in a second. San Jose, Edmonton, Minnesota, Washington, and Columbus. Just like that good old Sesame Street song that used to go, one of these things ain't like the other. I think it's Buffalo right here. Buffalo, we'll see San Jose if they stay in the bullish club. But what I'm getting at here is this. You got to be careful when you're looking at the bullish clubs. And the thing is, and I've known this from my experience, like every year in hockey, anybody who's followed my hockey picks always know I go on a crazy run the first 10, 15 games, and then I get into that little bit of a hiccup, right? I get the speed bumps. And I'm catching myself this year. I'm saying, all right, I know I'm off to a hot start, and nothing lasts forever. And every year I do this. I go on these great runs at the beginning of the year, and then all of a sudden, my mindset has not changed the way I handicap sports. But what happens is the performance level of teams happen, right? And it's almost like you hear me say this all the time when I'm talking about the trade deadline in baseball, the trade deadline in hockey. The favorites always go on a run, right? Well, it's the same thing in hockey, I find. In hockey, I find that a lot of the favorites go on a crazy run at the beginning of the year, but it's knowing when to slack la pédale, as my good friend Sniper likes me to say. In French, slack la pédale means take your foot off the gas a bit, right? And the thing is, you can't keep going at this pace. Like at the pace I'm going betting my NHL picks, there's no way I'm going to hit 80% the rest of the year, like the way I'm doing it right now. It's just knowing when to pull back, right? So just something to really think about when you are handicapping and you're off to that great start. Just like, and I'll get to the handicapping of Edmonton versus Vegas tonight. I think there's a good analogy and the comparison to that game right now with Edmonton being off to a 4-0 start. Of all these teams in the 10% clubs, and it's really 28% of the top teams right now, I got a feeling some of these top teams are going to be like the NFL, right? Some of them are going to drop back, and we'll get to that 12 to 15%. The fat cats can't stay in the top 10, right? So right now we're top heavy in the bullish club. So that's where and the transfer of win percentage has to happen, right? Because eventually these top teams that are bullish are going to end up in the 80% club. And then from the 80% club, like all these teams right now in the 80% club, there's only 2 ways they can go, or 3. They can stay in the the 3 and 4, 4 and 3 range, or they drop down to the bearish club, or they go into the bullish club. And I think if you're handicapping sports and you're saying, okay, the one thing with bullish teams, what comes with the price tag with bullish teams? High perception, high market psychology, high value, and what comes with the low perception teams, right? Low perception, low value. Nobody wants to touch them except contrarians. And then you got your 80% club, your teams in neutral. That where I find is sometimes, okay, which team is going up and which team is going down from the 80% club and in the neutral club. And that's where I get a lot of my handicapping and value from these neutral type teams. Anyways, let me know what you think of that rant. Again, I get into these modes and these moods where when you get something on your mind, it's like, okay, it's a show. I got to put this on the show, and I got to get more great minds thinking and dissecting what I just said. And send me your feedback, because the one thing I love about bringing this stuff to the forefront and talking about it is you get other great minds talking about what they think. And like, I'll give you an example. Last year, somebody told me, he goes, "Hey Ron, in your your Raymond report." So let me go to my Raymond report, and I'll show you an example what I mean by sharing. Sharing is caring, right? So once you share your stuff, and somebody said last year, "Hey Ron, you know what? In your Raymond report here, you got your bearish teams and your bullish. Why don't you put the number of days when they're bearish and bullish?" And I said, "You know what? That's a great idea." Because sometimes you'll see a team is bearish, but you say, "How long have they been bearish?" Well, they've been bearish for 10 days. Oh, wow. Okay. So anyways, something that I want to get out there and share with you guys. But let me know what you think. Again, another Ron's rant. And, I always like to do these rants type thing. And then, there's a lot of good handicappers and bettors out there. And I'm sure we can spin off something with that, right? All right. So what do we got next here? Ron's rants are over. Let's go to preseason baseball. We'll go to the game between the Boston Red Sox and the Houston Astros. Now, this game is, let me see, this game, Willy Wonka reference, caramel, chocolate. I'm just reading some of your stuff here. I'll have to go back and read this stuff after. My birthday was very nice, OG. That's a Ram. All right. I was trying to figure out why Vegas is such a favorite against Hot Oilers. Yeah, Steve Priest. I said that in my video this morning. How is a 4-0 team against a 1-2 or 1-3 team not the favorite, right? But I think it's strength of schedule. We'll look at that after. All right, let's take a look at the Stros taking on the Boston Red Sox. Now, the Boston Red Sox, I think I saw Nathan Eovaldi, the starter. And Houston, I don't know who the starter is going to be for the Houston Astros. Let me take out my lineup here. So, Luis Garcia, the mullet, against Nathan Eovaldi. Yeah, that's not happening, 26-20. Let me do a refresh because the line came out early. So, I forgot to, because I entered the line late, there was no line. So, I just had to put it up. So, while I do that, I'll go to another sport. And I'll come back to baseball in a sec. But on the meantime, in the right here, I'll start, you know what? I'll do it real quickly. Let me just generate the stats. Hey, chat amongst yourselves. Hey, just 1 second here. I'm just going to boom, boom, super stats, smart. And we'll go to ATS. And let me see if I do this. And we'll go to quick stats. MLB. See, this is great when you're on YouTube. You don't have to worry about producers in your ear going, "Hey, dead air, dead air." We got to go to sponsors. Hey, it's YouTube. We can do things on the fly here. But while we're doing this, let me see if this is MLB computer, and we'll see if we got a different. There we go. All right, so I can go back here. And while we wait for that to be generated, I'll just give out the forecast right now. Now, -109 is the line here on Luis Garcia against Nathan Eovaldi. The over-under is set at 9. Forecast, going to lean with the Boston Red Sox, 5.2 to 4.9. The over-under at 10.17. So it does like this game to go over the total. Now, again, you know me when it comes to Major League Baseball playoffs, or any playoffs for that matter. It's all about momentum, right? And Old Mo... Hey, Old Mo has gone to H-Town right now. Hey, he's left Beantown, and the Old Mo is heading to H-Town. And Houston's got all the momentum in this series right now. When you look at what they did last game, it was a big win. Let me just bring up the forecast here. Let me go to MLB. What was the final? 9-2 or was it, or 7-2? Let me just see here. Go right here. Boston Red Sox over 8.5. And yep, Steve Priest. And that's where I was going with this. Anytime a team like Houston's got the old momentum going, and the final score last game, 9-1. Yeah, 9-1. Look at the Astros, 18 runs the last 2 games. And, as much as I still like the Red Sox to, one thing you do, card laid, card played. You can't get off your predictions. I still like Boston in this series, but, name's Tucker, not Sucker. And that's why I think in a game like this, if you do like Boston, I don't think there's not a lot of dog value. Right? -101, pick 'em price, which is pretty good when you think about it, against a team that's -109. But I think the over is where the value lies here today. Now, the only thing I'm a little concerned with the over is that you got a desperate team in Boston who's on the ropes, right? And anytime you get a team on the ropes, your only concern is, are they going to be gripping at the plate? Are they going to be swinging at balls? Are they going to, is the pitching is going to be up to par? That's my only concern. And, if you're the Houston Astros, you got them on the ropes, eh? You got them, one game and you're off to the show. So that's, when you look at it that way, and this is why I don't bet a lot of preseason baseball, because I find the value is always in the first 2-3 games of a series, right? Once you get into the, game 5, 6, and 7, value's gone, momentum, you're just throwing darts, and anybody can tell you the score here today is lying, because anything can happen in playoffs. And for me, if I was to play this game here today, I would lean with the forecast. I'm still going to lean with my card laid, card played, the Boston Red Sox. But the over at Minute Maid Park, it's a hitter's dream right there. I agree with Steve Priest. I think it might go over. But when in doubt, get out, and it's no play here for me. But I, just for the record, to give you my leans, right? I do like Boston, and I do like the over today in the Stros and the Boston Red Sox. All right, let's get to the next thing. We'll go NHL, and we'll use a computer pick, and then we'll get to the NFL football. So we do have NFL football Friday. What's up, Derek? I see you in the house there, Derek. Miss Denica, how you doing? And I see a lot of people chiming in right now. Again, I'll get to that after. After the show's near the end, I'll go and I know Sniper, if there's any questions, Sniper will bring those to my attention, right? All right, so game number 1, you got, looks like Hutchinson's going to be between the pipes tonight against Aiden Hill of the San Jose Sharks. Low-scoring affair here in Ottawa last night. Ottawa's offense was stuck in neutral. 2-1 final for the Sharks. -244. Now, I'm not laying 244 on the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'll tell you that right now. -244 ain't happening. And 3.8 to 2.8, the over-under at 6.68. I'm going to have to really look into the lineups here today, because Toronto just doesn't look right. Matthews is back, but he hasn't, Mitch Marner, that's the question mark I'm having. What's going on with Marner? How many points does Marner have in his game so far? I don't think Mitch Marner's got a lot of points. And let me check his points in the first 4 games. Was it 4 games? 2? Yeah. 2-2, right? So where's Marner? Mitch Marner. Yeah, 1 assist in 4 games. What's going on with Marner? Had an assist in 4 shots. Game time decision after surgery and apparent. The 24-year-old was a game time decision after suffering an apparent injury. Yeah, anytime good players are not performing, sometimes they hide injuries, right? So right now there's something wrong with Marner. I don't know what it is, but yeah, San Jose played last night in a back-to-back game situation. Don't think I'll touch this game here tonight, but I'll put in my picks later at hockeypicks.com. Buffalo taking on the Boston Bruins. Now, again, another exaggerated, valued play here on the Boston Bruins. -213 against a Buffalo Sabre team that hasn't lost yet this year. But let's keep it in perspective here. Let's see who they played. I know it was at Vancouver. They played the Montreal Canadiens, and they played the Arizona Coyotes, right? I think those are the 3 teams that Buffalo's played so far. So let's not, take it easy there, plant-based. Don't start chalking the parade route yet. Hey, the Buffalo hasn't played anybody. You just missed Ron's rant. Yeah, you can always watch the rant back on the YouTube channel, right? All right, here we go. Buffalo. Yeah, so look at these games. Canuck 5-2. They were down in that game. Canucks got up early. And, Thatcher Demko, what a great game last night. This is, I got some goalies that I've been monitoring lately. Thatcher Demko is one of them. Shesterkin's the other one that I'm really high on these days. Sabres 2-1 against Coyotes. That was a good game. That was an overtime game. And 5-1 against, I think it was an overtime, but yeah, it was a good. And Montreal, well, Montreal's a mess right now. Hey, don't tell it to my wife. She's a big Hab fan. All right, so I do like, you know what? This is a tough one. The one thing with Buffalo, once a team gets rolling like this, you know my rule with streaks, right? I don't like to mess with streaks. But again, Boston, what's Bergeron doing these days? How many points does Bergeron have in his first 2 games? No points. When you lose, the thing is, once you lose your captain like Chara last year, was it last year or the year before? I can't remember. Anytime you lose, those big, players like that, I talked about it yesterday, right? The fighters in the league, the character players or energy line, right? When you lose those guys aren't as brave anymore on the ice, right? So Marchand's been a little bit quiet these days, but he still gets his nose in there. He's got 3 goals. I like Marchand. He's like the Ken Lisman of the 2000s, right? He's just. And what about Pasternak? Only 2 assists. He's got to get going too. But having said all that, you got to give credit to the Buffalo Sabres. Sabres are playing some good hockey right now. I love this Olofsson kid. I love Olofsson. I think DraftKings. I've been playing him. He's not bad. Dahlin here has got 2 assists. Looking at Jeff Skinner. He used to play with the Sens. He's got 3 points this year. And, so, you know what? I do like Craig Anderson should be between the pipes here tonight. Again, tough call. Minus 213. It's almost go against my principles here. There's no way Boston should be a 213 favorite. They should be like a 150, 170 at best. Minus 213, that's a lot. I think just on principle, you got to take Buffalo. LA Kings taking on the Dallas Stars. You know what? Dallas 2-2 on the year. A lot of close scoring games. Look at the Dallas Stars games. A lot of low scoring affairs. I think the last 4 games for the Dallas Stars have gone under the total. And let's take a look at that. Yeah, see, all went under. And it's all been 1 goal. Yeah, 3 of their 4 games are 1 goal games. 2-1 against the Penguins, which Penguins are a good team right now. Jeff Carter's there. So Pittsburgh is a good hockey team. They beat Ottawa. They beat Boston. They beat the Rangers. You know what? Dallas is better than we thought they were, right? And as Denny Green would have said, hey, we're not going to let them off the hook. Hey, good rant there by Denny Green back in the day. If you ever get to watch YouTube, go look at Coach Dennis Green and the Chicago Bears. And we let them off the hook. That was a classic rant. All right, so Dallas against the Kings. Now the Kings looking at 2-1 loss, 3-2 to the. So they haven't won. Let me see here. They've won 1 game against the Golden Knights. Golden Knights are they're in trouble. If they don't get Pacioretty and Stone back, they could be in trouble. And Robin Leonard played a really good first period against St. Louis. In the first 10 minutes, he got peppered a lot by the Blues. Man, there's some tough games here tonight. Minus 152. I do like Dallas. I just don't know if 152 is worth the investment. Edmonton taking on Vegas. Now, here's perception versus reality. Now, I talked about it at the top of the show. Why is Vegas a 132 favorite, right? Edmonton's 4-0 on the year. But who has Edmonton played? Vancouver. Vancouver's not a bad team. When Thatcher Demko's in nets, they're competitive. Calgary, Calgary is not a really good team. Anaheim, we've seen that. Coyotes. So you see that of all the teams they played, Canucks got 2 wins. Dallas Flames got 1. So maybe the Ducks got 1 win or 2, and the Coyotes have no win. So you can see that Edmonton's strength of schedule is, look at that, 28.3%. So all the teams that Edmonton has played, they've all got accumulated win record of 28.3. That's why Vegas is favored tonight. This is a game you don't touch. I don't think you touch this game here tonight. You think the Pelicans can upset the Bulls today? Can you go over some possible upsets in the NBA? Yeah, we do the NBA right after here. Once I finish the NHL, I'll do some NBA. All right, so this game here, common sense says Edmonton, right? But I don't know. Common sense might have left the building because this doesn't smell right. Doesn't pass my smell test right now. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to make of this line. Like, hey, it's like it's like your buddies tell you, watch out behind you, watch out behind you. What's going on here? Why is this line 132? I don't know. What was the last time these two teams played? 3-2, 3-0. So the last time Edmonton beat Vegas was 2019. Wow, it was a 4-2 victory. All right, so those are the NHL previews today. Let's take a look at the NBA. and then I'll take a look at the NFL, the National Football League. Let's go to computer picks. Lean under in the Vegas game, says Isaiah. Yeah, who's the starting goalies tonight? For Koskinen is likely, and Robin Leonard unconfirmed. Leonard played good in the first period against St. Louis, but I don't know what happened, and they fell asleep there in the second and third. Hey, those West Coast games, once you hit 53, it's tough to stay over 10 o'clock, right? And remind me to go on a rant next week. Hey, another one of Ron's rant. Playoff baseball. Why don't you do playoff baseball games at 4 p.m. Eastern? That's another one I was like, you know what? What's with these 8 o'clock games? Nobody over 50 is watching baseball after 10 o'clock unless you live in the West Coast. 4 o'clock game. How about that? Hey? What's the commissioner's name for Major League Baseball? Hello, 4 o'clock baseball playoff games would be perfect. Hey? For us older guys and ladies. Hey? Wouldn't you guys think 4 o'clock baseball would be perfect instead of like 8 o'clock? Who wants to stay up and watch the baseball at 8, 10 o'clock at night when hockey and NBA's on? All right, enough of Ron's rant. Hey, I'm on a roll here today, my rants. All right, New York Knicks minus 8.5. The over-under set at 212. ATS forecast, computer pick, gonna lean with the New York Knicks in this one. 106-102. The over-under at 208.87. Now, looking at New York, coming off that double overtime win, lost to the win against the Boston Celtics, 138-134. Let's take a look at the starting lineup here tonight. Let's look if there's any key injuries for the NBA. And again, NBA, I'm okay in the NBA. I'm just not. That's not my. It's not my bag, right? My bag. When you get to this type of season, I'm mostly a hockey guy, but I do watch one game of NBA a night. I got 4 TVs, so I keep one TV on NBA. The other 3 will be on the football, baseball, or hockey, right? All right, so let's take a look at the starting lineup tonight for the Knicks. You got Walker, Fournier, Barrett, Randall, Robinson, and then you got Anthony, Suggs, Wagner, Carter, Mo Mamba. Hey, that's a great name, Mo Mamba. Looking at the forecast here, 106-102. Now, Orlando didn't look good at all against San Antonio. I had them +6. That was my only play the other night. Did not win. But looking at the total, 208. Maybe the under is where you want to go in this one. What are you guys thinking of this one? Knicks were scrappy again. Bet on team. Focus, Ron, focus. You guys like that, eh? I didn't get nobody biting on my 4 p.m. baseball starts and playoffs. No one likes that. All right. Charlotte taking on the Cleveland Cavaliers. -3 for the Hornets. The over-under set at 225. Forecast leaning with Charlotte, 119 and 114. The over-under at 234.55. And looking at the Charlotte. Now, I think in this game, Indiana was down by like 25 points at one point, and then they came back to win. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. 123-122, and then you got the Cavaliers. This was close for a while against Memphis, but then John Morant and company just flexed the old muscle right there. 132-121. Looking at the starting lineup, the projected or expected starting lineup, LaMelo Ball, Terry Rozier is the game time decision. You got Gordon Hayward, Miles Bridges, Mason Plumlee for your Hornets. And if you like Cleveland, Darius Garland, game time decision. Colin Sexton, Markkanen, Mobley, and Allen. Markkanen, that's another player. He was with Chicago. He's another Porzingis, right? Got to stay healthy. These players that only play like 40 games a year should only be paid for 40 games a year, right? If you don't play, you don't play, unless you got a really serious injury. But these, we used to say in this world, old school, new school mentality. Are you hurt or injured, right? If people are hurt and they're sitting out. If you're injured, you're out. If you're hurt, anyways, I don't want to get on. I don't want to get on another rant, right? I'm getting on these too many rants here today on a Friday. All right, this game here, Hornets against Cavaliers. You know what? This 114-119 is the projection. 234. Maybe the over, but a slight lean to the Hornets. What do you guys think? You guys on the Hornets here today? Let's go, baby, says Eric Brown. Let's go. Hey, this sounds like a good. That sounds like a good look, Eric. I like the over in the Pacers, says Eric Brown. Over in the Pacers. All right, speaking of that one, yeah, you know what, Eric? I agree with you. Washington, even though they only scored 98 against the Raptors, sometimes you play down to your opponent, right? Toronto did not look good. Like, I don't know where the points are going to come in Toronto. This Toronto does not look like the world champion teams that we saw in 2019. The Raptors, I think, are they're small. In some, Van Fleet. I don't know if when Fred Van Fleet and Pascal Siakam's your guys. I don't know. They're good. Good Robins, right? I always talk about Batman and Robin tandems. They're your Robins. They're not Batmans. Right now, Toronto doesn't have a Batman. Looking at the Pacers, they are going in tonight as a 1-point underdog. This is a pick'em line, right? So if you're going to play this game, if you like the Wizards, make sure you play the pick'em line. 115 and 113, the over-under at 229. And looking at some of you guys are saying the over. Hello, Ray, says Rui Pedro Naguere. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, I won't forget the trends there, Gloria. I like the over. I agree with, was it Eric Brown that said that? I think he likes the over. I agree. 229 is what I have, and the total's 227. Raptors taking on the Boston Celtics. I'm all over the Celtics here. But, here's the thing. The one thing I can tell you in handicapping is anytime you're dealing with professional athletes, they're allowed to have bad games because the Raptors, they pooped the bed against Washington home opener. Think about that game. They haven't been at home in 600 and some days. The big pregame, and then the players come out and they talk, and emotional letdown, right? The Raptors. So this is a very dangerous game if you like Boston, because I don't think the Raptors showed who they truly were in game number 1. I think if you're gonna sit this one out, I would sit this game out to see what the Raptors are really about, because the perception versus reality, right? The perception is, oh, this team sucks. This team is going to be a bad team. They got no Batman. They're a bunch of Robins. I think if you're going to handicap this game here tonight, I think you play the total, but I don't think you touch the side, because I want to see what's going to happen here with the Raptors. -6 seems like a big line. And pearls, where's the pearls, Ron? Focus. You guys are out of hand with that focus stuff now, right? Hey, hold the rope, get on the bus, enjoy the ride. That's all I got to say. -6, the over-under at 218. 113 to 108, so we got them winning by 5 right there on the number, right? 222. Yeah, the over. I think with a game like that where they only scored 83 points last game, I think the over is where I go here tonight, but I'm not touching that game with a 10-foot pole. Brooklyn taking on the Sixers. We have -3 here's the line for the Brooklyn Nets. Now, let me take a look here at the Brooklyn lineup tonight. Harden, Harris, Durant, Griffin, Claxton, and then you got Maxey, Curry, Green, Harris, and Joel Embiid, game time decision. What's all going on with Joel? Don't tell me it's his back again, right? It's always his back or his knee. All right, so we'll see if Embiid, he should be in the lineup tonight. And 116 to 112, the over-under at 228.29. Brooklyn, that was a big win for Milwaukee. Not like big, I mean kick the crap out of them win. 127 to 104. And Philly took care of business without Zion, though, in the lineup for the Pelicans. I like Brooklyn here. I like Brooklyn in this spot, and we got them winning by 4. Pelicans taking on the Bulls. We have 117 to 97, the over-under at 214. And no Siakam for Raps, says Beat Studio. And let me see here. Maybe Celtics team total, says Isaiah. Overtime night before. And, so. All right, Chicago taking on the Pelicans. 117 to 97. Let me take a look at the lineup for the Pelicans. Graham, Alexander Walker, Josh Hart, game time decision. Brandon Ingram and Valanciunas. Still no Zion. What's this status? Remains without a clear timetable. Expected the minutes to return action. Yeah, so no clear return yet for Zion. And for the Bulls, Lonzo Ball, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan. You got Patrick Williams and Vukovic. And this Chicago coming off a 94-84 win in Detroit in game number 1. 5.5. I don't know. I really don't have an opinion. 214, so maybe the under. I don't know. What do you guys think? Was all over the Heat yesterday, says Isaiah. Daryl Turner says he likes the Knicks, Hornets, Pacers, Sixers, Celtics, Thunder, Bulls, Nuggets, and Lakers. Man, that's a lot of money to be betting there, Daryl. Hey, Daryl, where's your other brother, Daryl? Hey, a little Bob Newhart joke right there. If you're probably, I don't know if you get that, but just look at Bob Newhart. Hey, remember that show, Bob Newhart? Hey, this is my brother Daryl, my other brother Daryl. Hey, gotta have a good sense of humor here, Daryl, right? All right, I don't like this game here. Oklahoma taking on Houston. -2 is the line here on the Rockets. The Thunder, 221. We got Houston winning 110-108. The over-under at 218.61. Houston coming off a loss. Yeah, everybody's high on Minnesota this year, right? I know Minnesota, I don't know. Did they sign LeBron or did they sign Durant or something? I know Cat is a good player, but a lot of people that I respect are big on Minnesota this year. I'll keep my eye on that. 110-108, the over-under at 218, so it does like it to go under the total, and really don't have an opinion. San Antonio against Denver. Now, Denver coming off a big win over the Suns, 110-98, and the Spurs, you know what? Convincing win over the Magic. I was on the Magic that night. That was my only play, but big win for the Spurs. I think the Spurs getting 7.5 is a pretty solid play here. 118-113. I got them winning by 5. I think that's a good play. San Antonio plus 7.5. I think that's a good play. Even though San Antonio, a bit of a rebuild. You know, the Rosen's gone. You still got, DeJounte Murray. You got Derek White, McDermott, Johnson, Podol. But Morris, Barton, Porter, Gordon, and the Joker for Denver. I like San Antonio plus 7.5. What do you guys like? You think San Antonio wins straight up here? Maybe a little bit of a letdown after a big win over the Suns. Sacramento taking on the Utah Jazz. Another dog that I like here. Sacramento coming off a win over Portland. Winning in Portland. That was a big win. Minus 6.5 is the line. 118-112. I got them winning by 6, Jazz. But I think we can hook them here tonight. Maybe if it goes to 7, even better. But I do like Sacramento. And Phoenix taking on the Lakers. 112-110. The over-under at 222. And I don't know. This is a tough one. I don't think I'm going to touch this game. So the big play I like here tonight is San Antonio and Brooklyn. I think San Antonio and Brooklyn are probably my top plays today in basketball. I need to add Newhart to my collection. I got Bob Newhart show, though. Knox blowout. Lakers grave me. Honestly, don't even look at them. The play total, folks. All right, let's get to the NFL, the National Football League. And let me give you guys a quick... let's go to the rain report. We'll do a rain report. Fade the Lakers, says Eric Brown. Yeah, you know what? A lot of people are in that mode right now about the Lakers, right? Don't believe, let me see here. Westbrook, I said it last year. When you got a team full of alpha mentalities, it does. Sometimes the chemistry doesn't work because there's no leadership, right? Everybody's trying to, whenever you got 2-3 alphas on the team, then you got that standoff, right? Who's the top alpha? I think right now there's too many alphas on the Lakers, and try to be the head coach of the Lakers. Try to control those guys from a attitude perception, right? All right, so we did this game yesterday. Let's go to the next one. Actually, you know what? Let me go to my computer pick. Let's go NFL computer picks, and I'll give you the chance of winning on the system. Or you can get that on the front page. If you go to the front page, if you go to the home page right here, now I'm going to give you guys the computer picks. But if you want the system picks, these are free right here. Go to just click on the logo, the Kyler Murray logo. Go to NFL, and we'll give you the system forecast. We have 2 forecasts on the site. One's the computer picks, and this is the system pick. This is when any team's in a situation. The other one's when that team's in a situation. And if you want the system picks with the chance of winning, covering, and the chance of going under, along with the forecast, you can get that on the front page here at atsstats.com. All right, let's take a look at the games here. We'll do Tennessee against the Chiefs. Now, the Titans, big win over the Buffalo Bills. And, Tennessee, remember I said last week that, they were 3-3 or 3-2, but it was like a journeyman 3-2, like a very heavy lifting 3-2. And same thing, right? When Tennessee wins, it takes everything in their power to get that victory, right? A very hard-working team. When I see the Titans, I think of a moving company. Hey, and when I see the Tennessee Titans, I think of a moving company, just always working hard, everybody lifting, right? Tennessee Titans 4-2 straight up. The over/under 4-2 in the year. My line on this game minus 0.84, and for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now the Chiefs, big win finally against Washington, 31-13, a convincing win. And looking at the the forecast here, 26-18. Now, let me go check the, I want to see the last couple of games for the Chiefs. Let me take a look at the last couple of games for the Chiefs. Now, I'm only going to handicap a couple of games, and then I'll give you guys the computer picks. Looking at the Chiefs right now, looking at their 31-13, looking at their last couple of games, they lost against the Bills. They had a convincing win in Philadelphia. That was a road win. That was a convincing win. Maybe they just play all their games on the road, right? Stay away from Arrowhead because it looks like Arrowhead's not a good place for them these days. They could be 0-3 at Arrowhead if it wasn't for this win against the Browns. Cleveland, if you remember week 1, they dominated that game and in the first half, and then the Chiefs came back. But looking at Tennessee, I like Tennessee this weekend. I think Tennessee plus 5.5 at home. I think, again, don't get sucked into thinking that Kansas City's back. Look who they've beaten, right? They've beaten Washington, who's not a really good football team. They lost to the Eagles, but they have played some really strong teams, right? Their strength of schedule, Cleveland, Ravens, Chargers, like that's battle tested right out of the gate. And then you got the Eagles, the Bills. When they play, here's the thing: when they play the beatables, they beat them. When they play against the good teams, they struggle. Give me Tennessee plus the points. That's one of my selections. Another play that I like this weekend. Let's take a look here. I'm gonna go. I like the Chicago Bears. I know it's my uncomfortable pick of the week. Now you look at the Chicago Bears, a defeat last week against the Green Bay Packers. If you watched that game, it was before halftime was very close, and then Green Bay in the fourth quarter pulled away 24-14. And you look at the Bears' last couple of games, a victory against the Raiders at Las Vegas, 20-9, 24-14 win against the Lions, 26-6 against the Browns, 2017 against a very good Cincinnati Bengals team, which, Cincinnati's like the Seattle Mariners of baseball and the San Francisco, well, I wouldn't say they're the Giants, maybe the Mariners of baseball. The team that everybody thinks, eventually it'll be the Bengals again. They're going to start losing. But when you get a quarterback and he's got a little bit of help and he's got a running game, and, Zach Taylor's doing a good job as the head coach of the Bengals, you just never know, right? But looking at Tampa Bay, they played the Dolphins. They struggled against the Patriots in an emotional game at Foxborough, 19-17. They lost to the Rams. Falcons. Well, Falcons are not a good team, and they beat the Cowboys in a game where Dallas really could have won that game, right? I think Tampa Bay is a really good team. I think obviously they're going to be a playoff team. Are they a 12-point favorite team to beat Chicago? I don't think so. I think you want to take the points here. What's my line on the game? I had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at minus 6.83 and had the Bears at plus 4.34. So that's a 10-point difference, and we're getting plus 12. Give me the Bears. I think the Bears plus 12.5 is a solid play. My next play, I like the Baltimore Ravens. You say what you want about Lamar Jackson, and he has his some off games or whatever. This guy's a competitor, and the winning is contagious. And if you've ever played sports or coached sports, you get into these cycles of just anything you do, it wins, right? Now Cincinnati going into Baltimore as a 6.5-point road underdog seems like the right number to me. In fact, look at that. I had the Ravens at minus 7.84, so fair market value. I have the good value on the Cincinnati Bengals too. I had minus 6.17. But looking at this game, 81.8% chance of winning with the Ravens, 58% chance of covering, though, for the Bengals on the Rain Report, law of average theory, and that's based on the 50% law of average. The Kogo is at 75%. Baltimore on a 5-game win streak. I like Baltimore in this one. I think 29-18 seems like the right score right here. I think we might sweat out the fourth quarter a bit, but when it's all said and done, I do like Baltimore to win the game. So those are my 3 picks this weekend, guys. Tennessee plus, what do you see here? Plus 5.5. I like Chicago plus 12.5, and give me Baltimore minus 6.5. And those are my top plays this weekend for the Rain Report, the YouTube channel. All right, I'll give you guys the computer picks real quickly, and then I'll give you the top consensus of the week. Don't worry, Mark Nations, I got you. I know Mark likes those consensus picks. All right, so we got Tennessee 26-18, the over-under at 44. We got Green Bay taking on the Washington football team. We got a 10-point victory for the Packers here, 29-19, the over-under at 49.3. You know what? This could be a dangerous spot for the Packers because the Packers got two big games on deck. If you look at their next two games, I believe they're playing Arizona next week, and then they got Kansas City the week after. So this could be like the the perception versus reality breather game, right? You think it's a breather until you wake up in the second half and say, okay, we got to start playing football. Like last year. Remember last year when Detroit played in week 3, I think, week 3 or 4 at Green Bay? And Detroit was, I think they were even winning the game at halftime, or they were really close. And then Green Bay said, all right, enough of this crap. I think that's one of those type of games you're going to get here this week. 21-17, Panthers over the Giants. 39.08 is the total on 17 previous games in the database. I like the G-Men this week. I like the G-Men. Atlanta taking on Miami. 29-19, the over-under at 49.03. Well, what happened to this Miami team? Brian Flores was mentioned for Coach of the Year, and now he might be like, last hired, first fired type thing, right? I like Baltimore in this spot. New England against the Jets. This could be, you know what? You would think it'd be an easy task here for New England. And I say easy meaning, you had a game that it seems like New England allows these games to slip away. Normally in the past, Belichick would win those games. Now he's losing those games. And that's what really concerning for me. And, you can use the Brady angle. You can use whatever. But at the end of the day, New England used to win those games all the time. Now they're losing those games. And the thing is, once you start, getting into these patterns of losing these types of game, this is a dangerous game. I don't think I want to touch New England here. I think, it's as if when they play the really hard teams, they can beat them. And then, we'll see if they have a letdown spot. Let me see Let me check out their against the B-type teams here in the rain report. Let me go check New England. Don't forget the CFL. Yeah, I'll do some CFL. Good call there, Daryl and his other brother Daryl. Let me see here, New England. All right. Yep, I got it. I got it. Sniper's on the ball here today. Hey, that's why we pay Sniper the big bucks, right? That's why Sniper makes the big bucks here. He keeps the show going along. Hey, everybody thinks the show is the rain report. It's really Sniper's the one who keeps me in line here. Hey, he does a great job. Good job there, Snipe. All right, let's go New England. All right, look at this. So they played the Dolphins in week 1. They lose to Miami 17-16. They play the Jets at the Jets. Okay, convincing win, 25-16. They lose to the Saints. That was a game where Kamara went off a bit. Then a tough game against the Bucs, 19-17. Then they played the Texans, a game they had to come from behind to win, and then the Cowboys last week. So when I take a snapshot of that 6 games right there, what am I seeing? I'm seeing a team that just has no identity, no consistency, and then Belichick is like, he's like, what do I got to do here? Like, I don't want to say it was all Tom Brady back in the past, but normally Belichick would out-coach a lot of these teams, right? And right now, you just got to figure out what's going on in New England and why are they losing the games that they should be winning when they're leading. Like last week, there was a 3 lead changes in the last 2 minutes. This game here last week, man, if you had the Patriots, your emotions were like left and right for about 2 minutes, right? And then you just went and hit the heavy bag for an hour because you just had to hit something. But that was a crazy game. But yeah, I just don't know what to make of that game. Or the Patriots for that matter. All right, let's talk about the Lions and the Rams. Now, the Dan Campbell came out and put his, threw his, I'm just going to call it what it is. Campbell threw his quarterback under the bus. You don't do that in pro sports. As much as you think it, you can't say that. And this is where the inexperience of a young head coach or a new head coach, I won't say he's young, you can't go out there and throw your players under the bus like that. You can't say he's got to step up. Everybody knows he's got to step up. You don't need to say it because by doing that, you just identified the problem and now you just gave the public and the media a reason why you're 0-5 or 0-6. So I think that was a big, big mistake by Dan Campbell. And if I'm a player and I'm on that team, I'd be in the captains of that team, you got to go talk to your head coach and say, hey, why did you do that? Why would you throw our quarterback under the bus knowing he's going to play his old team next week and we need him mentally? and now he's got to worry about you and your press conference, throw him in under the bus. I'd be pissed. I'm pissed just thinking about it because I'm a coach, and when I see another coach throw players under the bus, that goes against the cardinal sin of teamwork, right? Teamwork makes the dream work, and when you throw your quarterback under the bus like that, we don't need a reminder of what's going on there, Dan Campbell. We know what's going on. But for you to throw your quarterback under the bus like that, uncalled for. 29-16, the over-under at 46. Rams win and easily won here. All right, Eagles taking on the Raiders. Now, the Raiders, big win last week. You know what? This is a confusing victory last week. 34-24 at Denver. What does that victory tell us? Like, with Gruden gone, is there less tension in the practices? Interesting scenario playing out here in Vegas, but going up to Las Vegas this weekend. 26-25 is the computer pick based on 17 games, and minus 2.5 is the line. Line looks a little low to me right there, right? Line looks a little bit low. I thought, what do I got in my, let's go take a look at the rain report, and let's go take a look at the Raiders. Let me see, the Raiders and the Eagles. Coaches shouldn't do that ever, Gloria K. Exactly. Brady was the head coach over there. Yeah, exactly. Isaiah Moore says Brady was the head coach over in New England. And coaches shouldn't do that ever. No, I agree 100%, Gloria K. Coaches coach. And then, when you're a head coach, you're also like a social worker, right? Players' emotions go up and down, and they don't need your head coach throwing you under the bus. Man, that was a big, big mistake. My line on the game, I had the Raiders -5, but look at the Eagles, -9.6. Wow. Great value on the Eagles. What do they've, let me see, 21-18 against the Panthers, 30-42. Yeah, that wasn't a good win, loss. 41-21, 17-11, 32-6. Yeah, I don't know where this 9 is coming from. Maybe it's the road. Let me see, on the road. And yeah, so 2 of their 3 wins are on the road. And for the Las Vegas Raiders, let's go backwards here. 33-24 against the Broncos. The Bears, they lost 28-14 against a good Chargers team, right? In San Diego, was competitive, but it just seems like Vegas, it's always nail biter type games, right? I think the Eagles might be worth a look here at +2.5. Maybe you buy the hook, get 3, but 26-25 seems yeah. I agree with Gloria K here. I would take the Eagles in this spot. All right, Arizona taking on Houston. Now, big look-ahead situation here for the Cards, right? I talked about their schedule, Arizona next week. I believe they got the Green Bay Packers on deck here. Let me see here. Cleveland, yeah, Packers. So the between the Cleveland Packers sandwich right here, and I got 34-14. Hey, I'll tell you, this one of my golden rules in NFL betting. If I like the underdog in the double digit, I'll take it. If I don't like it, I just don't touch the game. +14, +17.5. I think Houston's the play here, right? I think Houston is the play. I think with that big look ahead game, I think you just need a couple touchdowns to keep it within, right? Tampa Bay, Chicago. I like the Bears in this one. San Fran, Indianapolis. I'm gonna go with the forecast here. 24-19. I think that's about right. I do like the 49ers. And the Saints and Seattle Seahawks on a Monday night. 26-21 Seahawks. And we'll see if Cam Newton makes his way to Seattle. I think if Seattle loses this game, I think you might see the old number 1 back in business in the NFL. I hope so. I want to see Cam Newton, right? It's you got a very hey, you look at the preseason Cam Newton had in New England. And I thought he was doing everything right, but I think he got shafted in New England. And but like Cam Newton said, the reason why he's gone is not because of Belichick and all that. He thought because Mac Jones would feel uncomfortable, right? That's what he said. But looking at the Geno Smith, I think if Geno Smith doesn't have a good game here, I think you bring in Cam Newton this week. You got to bring him in sometime. Somebody's going to get him. Because Jacob Eason is not the answer right here. I do like the Saints on Monday night. I know Seattle's a tough place to play on a Monday night, but I'll break that game down on Monday. All right, there you have it, folks. Hey, this was a jam-packed show today. You had some rants. You had some brother Darryls and Darryls. Oh, yeah, CFL. Don't forget the CFL. Oh, the trends are your friends. Let's go to the trends are your friends. Almost forgot the trends of your friend. Do you believe that, Gloria K? Almost forgot your trends here. All right, we'll do like yesterday. We'll work number 8 to number 1. In the 8th spot, we got the Cardinals 9-2 against the point spread as a home team during the month of October versus an opponent with 11 to 20% win percentage. And I just told you guys I'm taking the Texans. That's why these are only trends. Hey, trends don't pay the rent. That's what I heard one day. That was a good line right there. Trends don't pay the rent. Cardinals 9-2 as a home team in October against an opponent with 11 to 20% win percentage. The Falcons 8-2 against the point spread as an away team, coming off a game where they scored exactly 27 points for since 1996. And the Atlanta Falcons playing the Miami Dolphins 8-2 in this spot. I do like Falcons this week. Patriots 9-2 straight up as a home team, coming off back-to-back ATS loss the last 10 years. So if you like the Patriots, that's a good stat. 81.8% backing right there. The Lions 10-1 as a 10 or more underdog during week 4 to 8 when they scored 13 points or less for in their last game. So if you do like Detroit this weekend against the Rams, that's a pretty good stat right there. Dolphins 10-2 ATS as a home team before a conference game the last 2 years. The under 10-2 for the Falcons, so 2 overs, 10 unders for Atlanta as they pick them, the -3 away favorite, coming off back-to-back ATS losses since '96. The Saints, here's a Monday night stat for you. The Saints 11-2 as an away team, coming off back-to-back ATS loss the last 5 seasons. And the over, here's our top stat of the week. The over 16-2 for the Las Vegas Raiders when they're home team, coming off a road ATS win the last 7 years. So the over 16-2 against the point spread. I'm behind listening, but thanks for consensus picks. Oh, here we go. Consensus. Yeah, almost forgot. Good call there, Mark. Hey, almost forgot my consensus. So last week, the consensus plays, not a great week. It went 0-4 straight up. The only win was the favorite, Baltimore, -3.5. So the consensus underdog plays on the year, 7-9 straight up, but 9-7 against the point spread. And the favorites making a comeback, 12-10 straight up, 10-11-0 against the point spread. So what I do is I track 2 other newsletters along with ours, and I give you guys the consensus plays of the week. Here are this week's consensus for NFL week number 7, and your first consensus play of the week is LA Rams -14.5, Las Vegas -3.5, and your underdog consensus play of the week is Tennessee +5.5. And those are the 3 newsletters combined. So if you're getting confused and say, hey, Ron, you said you don't lay 10 points, and now you said this. I'm just giving you guys the consensus newsletters. So this is our forecast along with 2 of the other newsletters I respect. And what I do is I build a consensus, and the consensus is Rams -14.5, Vegas -3.5, and Tennessee +5.5. And those are your consensus newsletter plays of the day. All right, CFL. Somebody wanted me to do some CFL action, and won't disappoint you guys right here. We'll go to the CFL action here today. And Toronto taking on the Montreal Alouettes. Now the Argos a 1-point road favorite. The over-under is set at 49. We got the Argos beating the Alouettes 24-21. The over-under at 46.07. I do like Toronto here today. I think this is a good spot since Chris Jones has been now in Toronto. New swagger in town there in Toronto, right? Chris Jones brings a little bit of swagger to that defense in the TO. All right, Ottawa taking on Hamilton. And yeah, trust me, this you can see the ATS computer pick is drunk because there's no way Ottawa's going to be winning this game. But I go and say that, and crazier things have happened. -14.5 is the total. The over/under at 41.5. The computer pick, but only based on 6 games in the database, has Ottawa winning 23-22. The over/under at 45.5. And you know what? Hey, sometimes you just that uncomfortable pick. And if the computer only spit out favorites all the time, it'd be boring, right? So I got to add a little excitement to the CFL this weekend and throw in the odd bone right here. All right, BC taking on Winnipeg. Man, these Blue Bomber teams look like the team to beat right now in the CFL. 26-22, the over/under at 49.7. Winnipeg coming off a 26-16 win over Edmonton, which I thought they'd blow them out more than that. And BC losing to Calgary. Watch out for Calgary. Hey, the Stampeders, they got a great head coach in Dave Dickinson. You know, the Levi Mitchell. Bo Levi Mitchell, great quarterback, experienced quarterback in the CFL. I think Calgary is going to give Winnipeg a run for their money. 26-22, the over-under at 49.7. So BC plus 11 might be worth some value there. And the Green Riders taking on the Calgary Stampeders. The reason why I say, you know, here's where's Chad there? Hey, where's our corner gas? Hey, the reason why I say Green Riders because back in the day, Ottawa used to be called the Ottawa Rough Riders, right? So people would always get confused. How come there's two Rough Riders in the CFL? That's stupid. And I agree, it is stupid. So that's why we call Saskatchewan the Green Riders and Ottawa the Rough Riders, right? But if you ask Riderville, there's only one Green Rider, and it's the Rough Riders in Saskatchewan. So now you know the rest of the story, eh? Little Paul, what was his name? Paul Allen. All right, -1 here is the line here on the Stamps. The over-under at 44. ATS forecast. Computer pick, going to leave with Dickinson and Bo Levi Mitchell and company. 26-20, the over-under at 47. I do like Calgary this week. Probably be my top CFL play for week number, 12 this week? I think 6 and 5. Yeah, maybe 12 or 13. We'll see. All right, there you have it, CFL fans. Hey, we do everything here. We do hockey, NBA. Hey, this is a jam-packed show today. And how are you for time? Probably, 1:14. I knew this would be a late one. I always like to keep it under an hour, 45 minutes top. But anytime you get on a Friday, you got to throw in the pearls out there, right? OG Wheat. Hey, they came for the show, but they left with the pearls. That's what maybe that's a new saying here at the show. All right, folks, there you have it. That is the Rain Report. Again, if you're interested in my top plays, my premium picks, my best bets, you can get them right here with a membership at atsstats.com. In fact, when you get the membership, you get my beer and pizza money picks. But if you want my premium picks, you go to Ron's premium picks. And having a good run right now in the NHL, 7-1 straight up. And you can see pretty good run last night, 2-0. Night before, 2-0. So good run in the NHL. Pearls, baby. Just give them the pearls. All right. Hey, on that note, let's leave it for that. All right, folks, have yourself a great weekend. As always, I'll see you back here on Monday. Hasta la vista, baby. I'll see you, not mañana, but how do you say Monday in Spanish? I'll say it in French. Lundi. Cheers.